All right, so this is going to be a little bit more of an informal story time business video that involves my grandpa, the CEO of Coca-Cola, and Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. I made a video on that about how he's not actually the founder. You can go check that out. Anyways, so my grandpa was born in the 1930s in a city in Florina, Greece, and we're not going to go through that whole sidetrack story, but pretty much he wanted to come to Canada to live the Canadian dream and get a better life for himself. So he came over here, not speaking a single word of English, and I think he had like a few dollars in his pocket. He came over here, and he ended up finding a job as a waiter or a busboy, even though he didn't speak a lick of English. So he came over to Toronto and worked at some restaurants, and no one could really understand him. So when he was taking orders and stuff, like all he would know is like the word burger, or he would know the word fries, or know the word sandwich, or know the word coffee. But he wouldn't, if someone were to ask him like any non-business or non-restaurant related word, he would have no idea what they were saying, pretty much. So anyways, after he worked as a waiter for about 5 years, he decided that he wanted to open up his own business, but he didn't really know how to start. I mean, he didn't really have enough money yet to open up his own restaurant, which is what he wanted to do. So he decided to get into the beverage market. And I think that based on the title of this video, you kind of know where this is going. So what he did was he said, you know what? He went to the store one day and he saw there's a bunch of drinks, but the one that popped out the most was Coca-Cola. And he tasted it and it was great. He liked the cola taste. And so he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to start my own cola company. So what he did was he bought a drink truck. It's hard to explain. It was a truck that would go around. It had its own like carbonation system in it, and he would make these cola drinks and deliver them to construction sites, people that wanted drinks, or he would deliver them to some restaurants or I don't think he got into retail stores, but what he pretty much had was a delivery system for cola. And I know it's kind of weird thinking about that now, but back then, stores were really far apart. Not everyone had cars, and not everyone could get cola. And so the fact that my grandpa was going around and delivering these drinks, and he would sell them in mass quantities, that's how he made his money. So anyways, that was pretty much what he did. Now, where does the CEO of Coca-Cola come in? So what my grandpa didn't tell me when he originally told this story was that he marketed his product pretty much as a knockoff of Coca-Cola. So he actually called his company Cincy Cola, and he made the labels and everything the exact same as Coca-Cola, except instead of the word Coca, it was Cincy, and it was all the same lettering. And my grandpa was laughing when he was telling me this story. And so he pretty much had a knockoff of Coca-Cola that he would go, and sell to construction workers, whatever, employees, some stores, all that stuff. So he told me he did this for I don't know, a couple of years, and he was making really, really good money. And I think he had 2 trucks. I think 2 trucks or 3 trucks. And they were just going around selling cola. And so he made a lot of money. He saved up a lot of money. And then one day he gets a call from Coca-Cola. And it was I believe he originally said it was, back then he didn't really know who this person was, but it was the CEO of Coca-Cola. And he had been informed my grandpa was making a knockoff illegally of his product. I mean, it's one thing to call your company Cincy Cola, like that would be legal, but the fact that you copied the marketing and were pretty much telling people it was Coca-Cola, that's not something that you can do. So he got a call one day from the CEO and said, like, look, we know what you're doing. We're going to send our lawyers out there if you don't shut it down. And so anyways, after that call, my grandpa actually just kept going and kept selling because that's the kind of guy he is. So he ended up selling it for a little bit longer. And then one day he gets another call, and it's from the lawyers of Coca-Cola. And they show up eventually at his door and say, look, you got to shut this down or we're going to sue you. We have a lawsuit all ready to go. There's no chance you're going to win. So look, we're giving you a chance. They were actually really nice. They gave him a chance, like, back out, take your money, just stop your business and we won't do anything. You can keep all the profits you made off of Coca-Cola marketing. And so that's what my grandpa did. So he had some conversations with some people that were fairly high up, the CEO and the lawyers of Coca-Cola. This was like late 1950s, I think. And but that didn't stop my grandpa from creating copycat marketing. So he made a couple more businesses, but I think it was the mid to late 1960s, right when McDonald's was taking off, he decided to open up his own restaurant, and he called it I think it was Menchie's or Munchies. It was one of those two. I know that there's actually a store named like Munchies or Menchie's right now, so I always get them confused. But he opened up this restaurant. It was called, we'll just say Munchies. So it was a classic burger. I think it was like a sandwich ice cream. I think burger place. I'm not quite sure, but it was a restaurant and it was doing pretty well. It was just one restaurant. Now here's what my grandpa did: is that he saw the success he had with Cincy Cola. And what he decided to do was do the exact same thing with the McDonald's brand. So what he did was, on top of the store, he put the big golden arches of McDonald's to resemble the McDonald's store, so that people would go in thinking it's McDonald's. So pretty much they would. Although the funny thing was that I don't think that he served fries or something. And so they would go in, the customers would think it would be a McDonald's, but it was actually Menchie's, and there was no word of Menchie's anywhere. It was just like literally the golden arches, and it was like red and yellow and stuff, the store, and then it was just nothing. You couldn't see the Menchie's name anywhere. So what he so the customers would come in, they would want like, burger and fries, and then they would only, serve burgers because they didn't make fries or something. Or maybe they made fries and didn't do burgers. It was one of those two or something. And so they would go and they're like, hey, this is McDonald's. Why aren't you serving fries here? And then sometimes he would say like, look, we are McDonald's, but we're just out of fries today or something. And then sometimes he would say, look, we're not McDonald's, but we have this, it's a great restaurant, try this other food, right? So anyways, that got a lot of people through the door. Now, based on the title of this video, you know who got pretty mad about this, and this was the founder, Ray Kroc. So my grandpa, he got another call, and this one was from, this one was in the late 1960s, I think, and it was from Ray Kroc himself. And when my grandpa originally told me this story, he didn't tell me it was Ray Kroc. I mean, I heard this story a bunch of times, but he didn't tell me it was Ray Kroc until recently. He just kind of told me, it was like, oh yeah, it was that big guy that was opening up all the restaurants. He got kind of mad at me, and then, that's Ray Kroc. So he got a call from Ray Kroc, and then Ray kind of said the exact same thing as the Coca-Cola guys, shut it down or else we're gonna come and sue you. But that didn't stop my grandpa, so he kept the business going, faking it as McDonald's. And eventually, I think it was Ray Kroc and two lawyers actually showed up to his door and told him to shut it down immediately or else they'll sue. And, my grandpa, he's a smooth talker, by the way, my grandpa. I know that he didn't have great English back then, but he was a pretty smooth talker, and still is. So he managed to get away without a lawsuit, but he did end up having to shut the entire restaurant down. Like, you couldn't just debrand it and name it Munchies. That was the deal. You had to just shut the entire restaurant down. So that's what he did with that too. Now, my grandpa ended up, being a great entrepreneur. He ended up opening up like 7 more restaurants that weren't copycat. So pretty much what he learned from those, Coca-Cola experiences and that McDonald's experience was that good marketing and getting people through the door is very, very important. And he actually learned a lot from those experiences, even though he was kind of stealing marketing. But he learned how to market stuff himself from those experiences in a way. And what those experiences also taught him was like actually how to run a business. Yeah, sure, he was copycatting the marketing, but he was actually learning like this. These were his first 2 businesses, really. It was selling cola and opening a restaurant, and he learned how to do those things. So what he did was he said, okay, I'm not going to copy anyone else anymore. I got 2 warnings. I'm pushing my luck here. Let's just open my own chain of restaurants. And that's what he did. He just opened up a bunch of restaurants. I think he had 7 at the peak. And he owned a bunch of buildings too. And then I think in the late 80s, early 90s, he sold off a bunch of his stuff and retired. I think he still has some I think he has 1 or 2 properties. But yeah, that's the story of my grandpa. He had some copycat marketing and run into some very, very powerful, high up, people in McDonald's and Coca-Cola. Now these days, if someone were to do what my grandpa did, I'm 100% sure they would get sued up the ass, and then they wouldn't be able. They might go to jail for all I know. My grandpa could have gone to jail if he did that, today, but luckily he didn't. And yeah, he learned a lot, opened up a lot of businesses. So that's the story of my grandpa and how he used Coca-Cola and McDonald's to leverage his own brand and sell some stuff. It's something I don't recommend for everyone out there. But you know what? Here's the other thing too, is that it's not okay to copy someone like pretty much 99.9% of what they do, but it's okay to like kind of copy and then change it a lot in your own way, or use it to like create your own brand. So anyone who's become an expert had to get their information from somewhere, and they essentially, learning and copying is a very gray area. I mean, without knowing it, all of your values are pretty much shaped by your parents, and like are copies of your parents, and you just kind of shape them in your own way. So the same kind of applies to business. Like, you can learn from other businesses and kind of copy them, but make sure you twist it in your own way so that you don't get sued up the asshole. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap up this video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people. I'll see you guys in the next video.